Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 279.
On Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. Help support us bring you independent news every week by heading over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. There's really cool perks over there, and you'll be helping to support this show.
We want to thank Birch Living for sponsoring the show. Birch is a premium mattress-in-a-box company that makes mattresses and sleep products that are stylish, comfortable, and environmentally conscious.
Birch makes organic, non-toxic mattresses made right here in America with just 4 materials sourced straight from nature: organic latex, New Zealand wool, American steel springs, and organic cotton. I've had my Birch mattress now for almost a year, and I really appreciate how comfortable it is.
Yeah, you were telling me the other day how you're actually getting better sleep.
Yeah, it's true. There are so many things that go into getting a good night's sleep. My girlfriend and I used to toss and turn way more with my old mattress. Now with my Birch, I find that we get much more restful sleep, and we both feel more energy in the morning.
And get this, Birch Living just announced their newest mattress, the Birch Luxe Natural Mattress.
The Luxe takes the comfort and luxury of the original Birch mattress to the next level. It is crafted with responsibly sourced and sustainably produced materials, including organic cashmere.
Now, the Luxe is specially created with breathability, cooling, and support in mind, and offers increased airflow and targeted zoned lumbar support.
And can we just take a second to explain why we're telling you about Birch Living on a channel about EVs and tech and sustainability?
Because Birch mattresses are made sustainably from certified organic materials.
Not only are you going to be sleeping on it for a third of your life, so, you want the materials it's made out of to be all natural,
but also because Birch is certified Global Organic Textile Standard, Green Guard Gold, Fair Trade, Eco Institute certified, Wool Integrity New Zealand, Forest Stewardship Council, Rainforest Alliance. I mean, it's made sustainably, and that's important to us.
Now I hear you. You're afraid to buy a mattress from the internet that you haven't even laid down on yet. But you get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 25-year warranty.
You get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it. If you don't, they'll pick it up for you. And I mean, right out of your bedroom, and you'll get a full refund.
The best part is that Birch delivers your mattress right to your door for free within the US. It comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to set up yourself.
If you've been dreaming about a new mattress, don't wait any longer. Use our link, birchliving.com/nowyouknow, and you'll get $400 off your Birch mattress plus 2 free pillows.
Those pillows, by the way, are made from recycled plastic bottles.
And we're brought to you by BigBattery.com. No matter what you need to power, Big Battery can provide you with the latest battery tech at the best price per kilowatt hour guaranteed. Their batteries are easily installed, require zero maintenance, and they're made right here in the U.S. Pick up yours today at BigBattery.com and use the code NowYouKnow for 5% off at checkout. You led, Mary.
You did, Mary. So what's this all about?
Well, so Toyota outsold General Motors in 2021 in the United States, dethroning Detroit's automaker that has been U.S. sales leader since 1931. And Elon responded, wow. James Stevenson pointed out that GM sold 26 EVs in the fourth quarter of last year. That's almost one sale every 3 days.
Wait. 26 EVs? You must mean like 26,000.
No. I mean 25 Bolts and 1 EV Hummer. And don't forget that 1 EV Hummer went up for like an auction, so it sold for millions of dollars.
Well, good. That's great. Return on investment then.
Yes.
That's good business.
You're right. That's probably how they've been touting it. Tesla Silicon Valley said the same thing, and Elon said, room to improve. So for the first time in U.S. car history, look, since 1931, a foreign automaker has sold more cars than a U.S. manufacturer. GM, who had been leading in the U.S. auto sales, was beaten last year by Toyota.
Now, look, I know the story in the media is all about how this is because of the chip shortages. But look, it's only part of the story.
Yeah, the other part of the story is that consumers are waking up to EVs, and Ford and GM don't really offer any compelling models. Ford may have the Mach-E, but as we've shown, it doesn't hold a candle to the Model Y.
GM, as we pointed out, sold only 25 Bolts and 1 EV Hummer last quarter, so no competition there.
So maybe GM will bounce back to the number 1 position next year after the chip shortage runs its course.
Now, you could write this story that now Ford has moved up to the number 1 domestic spot. But again, that's missing the point. I mean, this is like if we were watching a horse race and it started back in 1931, and all. Okay, GM and Ford, they're in the lead. Oh, looks like Toyota took the lead from Ford. And it's like, meanwhile, you have a frickin' Tesla Roadster going, as you can see, Ford, don't pay any attention to that. The thing that just slapped them. I don't know what the heck that was. They're focused. They're so focused on the leader they're not paying attention on what's catching up and the speed at which they're catching up, and that's Tesla.
Yeah, I see. So in this analogy, Tesla hasn't started yet. It's 1931.
Right. So I mean, like,
in 2008, Tesla joins the race and starts lapping them.
Fast.
Right. I get you.
Like sure, they're 5 or 10 laps behind, but they're catching up really, really quickly.
No, that's a really good point. And I mean, that is the way that the media has been couching it. In fact, I didn't even want to cover this story because it just it's what we always talk about on the show. But yet I turned on the regular media this week, and that's all anyone could talk about is Ford's now number one.
Right. And GM's behind, but that's because of the chip shortage. It's like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like, hello? But GM did announce something big at CES, right?
So you mean the Chevy Equinox EV at CES starting at just $30,000?
Wow, $30,000. Okay, so what's the range?
There were no specs announced. This was just like one of those press things.
Okay, so that's not a great sign. But there was another GM announcement.
Yes, the 2024 Chevy Silverado. Now, this had a lot of specs, and I am really impressed with this. 664 horsepower, 400 miles of range. Now, that's not EPA yet. That's just GM says it'll have it. But 400 miles, I mean, yay.
Okay.
0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Awesome. 350 kilowatt DC fast charging at 800 volts. I'm not excited about 800 volts, but I am excited about the speed of the fast charging, so that's awesome. 10,000 pounds of trailering, 1,300 pounds of payload. You can get a dual motor, 24-inch wheels, 4-wheel steering.
So rear wheel steering as well. Okay.
Yeah. Adaptive air control, so 2 inches of up and down play, which is cool. They didn't mention anything about whether it would have air hose jacks like the Cybertruck offered. And if you're going to have air adjusted suspension, you could offer that maybe later. Maybe that's like a sandbag thing. Multi-flex midgate. Check this out. So when you first hear that term, because it's not a common term, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is middle of the truck between the bed and the cab. You can open it up.
So this is something that we talked about with the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
The reason that we were so excited about it with the Cybertruck is we thought that the Cybertruck might be a boat. And so being able to get around the cabin of your boat truck would be important. They didn't really mention
a boat option.
For the and I wouldn't expect it for the Silverado.
No, but what's really cool about a midgate is that first of all, you can open half of it if you want. So if you want to put a canoe in there, so it goes from like a 5.5 foot bed to over a 10-foot bed, depending on how you put down the tailgate. Let's talk about the tailgate. It gets one of those fancy tailgates with all those different options. I love that. This will have 10 electrical outlets with 10 kilowatts of power. So you can use it on a work site, kind of like we saw with the Ford F-150, or you can power your home. A lot of cool options here. Now, there's even more options that they showed in CGI, like all these tool chests. I don't know if those are going to be available when it comes out in 2024.
Right. Now, didn't I see you ordering one?
I did. I mean, I want to share electric pickup trucks with you guys. How are we going to know if this is better than the F-150, as good as the Cybertruck, if we don't get our hands on them? And I mean, as a kid, I grew up with pickup trucks. That's what we had in the family. I haven't had them in a long time. I'm kind of excited again to get my hands on a pickup truck because you can do so much with them.
Well, especially one that you're excited to own.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this is obviously the game plan for GM going forward. I mean, take your brands like Silverado, Equinox, probably Blazer, Hummer, and electrify them.
Look, I mean, that's kind of a joke to me. I know that Silverado is a pretty big brand, but like Blazer, Equinox. I mean, GM doesn't have innovation in their DNA, so this makes sense. They just said, take our existing brands and electrify them.
And, I mean, Silverado and Equinox aren't even coming out until the end of 2023.
Yeah, I mean, these will be 2024 model year, and yes, they'll probably come out in December of 2023. And I'm sorry, GM, but maybe in your little Detroit bubble world, you think that brands like Silverado and Equinox and Hummer and Blazer mean something, but come on, really? I mean, I think the one big weak point that is not talked about at all in this video or any of their announcements is the charging network. They simply say it plugs into a public charging network. Right. First of all, where are you going to find a 350 kilowatt charger? They're not common.
Well, every so often an Electrify America charger station will have one stall that can go up to 350 kilowatts.
This is the part I want to show you guys with these trucks because
maybe it'll be awesome. Like maybe it'll be so much better than the Cybertruck, and we're going to go like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not.
The public networks have finally caught up, and you might have to pay a little more, or maybe you pay less. Like, who knows what's going to happen in 2024?
China has 20 times more charging points than the U.S. I think that just shows you that like we're so woefully behind. But yeah, maybe there'll be more by the time it comes out.
But I mean, I would have. This is an impressive truck, and I think we're going to talk about this more later this week.
I think we should do an in-depth about it.
But to me, it does seem like if you're going to put all this time and effort into getting a great range and rear wheel steering and a mid-gate, why not just say, and we're also expanding out our Silverado network or our Chevy charging stations?
No, I mean, I wrote off this truck, obviously, when it came out, and I just said, like, it's a placeholder truck. It's probably going to be a piece of crap. And when we did our in-depth about pickup trucks a while back, we didn't really talk about it because we knew nothing about it. Now we have some specs. Now we have some prices.
Yeah.
I mean, starting price $39,900. I mean, I don't know what truck you get for $39,900. I'm sure it's just rear-wheel drive, whatever, but that's in the same league as Cybertruck and the Ford F-150. So there's a lot to talk about here. I agree with you. I think we should do an in-depth.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be doing that on Friday. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because you can get a notification where we're going to be talking about this truck and all the other electric pickup trucks in a lot of detail. So you can catch that on Friday. Did I see that Tesla FUD is rising again?
No, not FUD. FSD is rising.
Oh, okay.
Elon tweeted out on the 7th, Tesla FSD price rising to $12,000 on January 17th, just in the US. FSD price will rise as we get closer to FSD production code release.
Okay, so I think that a lot of people ask the question, is $12,000 worth it for full self-driving? And I think that they're asking the complete wrong question.
Wrong question. Yeah, I mean,
it's not, is it worth? It is, will it be worth?
This is the problem with most Americans, I'm sorry. And it makes sense. You're talking about something that isn't here yet, and none of us have experienced yet. It's going to be the first time this technology will exist on the planet. And Elon can picture it in his mind clearly. Most of us can't. So when he says this is going to be worth up to $100,000, you and I are like, great, but full self-driving beta doesn't look like it's worth anything right now.
Right.
It looks like stress on me because it's like driving with a 16-year-old. I wouldn't want to turn this on, so why would I pay you for it?
Right. And I mean, to be fair, like, yeah, I've had the full self-driving beta in my car for weeks. I barely used it.
Right.
I mean, it is a stressful thing to want to go like, I'm going to let the car see how it's going to handle this awful intersection.
It's kind of like when Elon said, I'm going to re-land rockets. Until he did it, most of us said, okay, that's nice. When he did it, we all went, oh, that's priceless. So to me, it comes down to whether you believe him.
And it was a lot different when they were doing rockets, because they were launching and blowing up rockets. And, you know, most people didn't see that. Most people weren't even thinking about it.
Well, yeah, you and I don't get to test, you know, full self-landing rockets.
Right.
It just happened one day.
Right.
Whereas now that we see all these videos and you probably are out there testing it yourself and you're like, this isn't really what he says it's going to be. I think the problem Elon has is with the name. He calls it full self-driving beta. And so you think this is it. This is full self-driving. The beta to him means a lot because he's a programmer and he knows that that word means that overrides everything, right? But to us, the consumer, we're like, this is it. This is the program.
Well, and also, beta has been overused in pretty much everything. They're like, we're going to come out with a product, but we know that it's not going to be perfect, so we're going to call it beta.
Right.
And so people are expecting a full-scale product, but just like if there's some problem, the company can go, well, it's not our fault, it's beta, man.
This is actual beta testing, which means that there's problems every day. There's bugs that need to be reported. They're working on it. He probably should have called it alpha, or he probably should have called it something completely different. Like he should have called it, 16-year-old driver. And that way we wouldn't still be thinking of it as FSD. So here's the problem. He says now the price has gone up and you're like, but this thing is still a piece of crap.
But again, you're not thinking of the right thing.
Exactly.
You're not paying for the beta.
Right.
The beta, of course, is not worth $12,000.
So turn on your imagination for a second. Pretend that in a year, this thing is full self-driving.
And I hear you. I hear you going right now. No, but you don't understand, Zach and Jesse. It's not going to actually happen because I tried it or I saw someone try it.
There's too many problems.
It's going to work. I understand. I get it. What I'm saying is you're wrong. And I know that sucks. Hate to hear that. What are they going to, they're going to keep doing full self-driving for the next 20 years and they're never going to crack it? You really think that? The guy who re-lands rockets is building, it's just frustrating to me when people can get so far to want to buy a Tesla, to put down some amount of money from $2,500 up to $10,000, now $12,000 on what they believe is going to be full self-driving, and then they go, they're not going to be able to do it. Well, then what did you spend your money on?
I think it's also because Elon promised this years ago. He said, I'll drive a car from LA to New York, and he never did it. And I think a lot of people are very salty about that. So I don't blame anyone.
Right.
The thing is, get past that.
Right.
This is going to happen. Will you be glad that you paid $12,000 for it? Because I'm glad that I paid $2,500 for it.
Maybe you won't. Here's the thing. You probably won't, because when you bought your Tesla, you thought to yourself, this is my car, and I love my car, and I love it, and I'm going to drive it. I'm going to.
Right.
You were not thinking, all right, I'm going to buy this, and I'm never going to see it again.
Right.
It's going to be off, making me money.
Right.
No, you weren't thinking that. You were thinking, I love this car. This is everything that I want in a car. It's clean, it's fast, it's exciting, it has lots of tech in it. You weren't thinking, all right, can't wait to get this thing out of my driveway.
That's the other problem. Elon's an entrepreneur. Most of us aren't. So when he thought of this idea, he thought like, oh, everyone's going to see it the way I see it.
Right.
And that's not true. You're right. Most people see that as a part of their family.
Right. And it's just, you've lived your whole life without a chauffeur. I don't think that you were like chomping at the bit to get one. The true value in it comes from its ability to make money for you because you own the car. So last week we reported how Ford dealers are adding insane markups to F-150 Lightning customers.
Well, now it appears that Ford has something to say about that.
Yeah, take that, dealers.
Ford came out with a bulletin.
Oh, a bulletin. Oh, I can't wait.
Exciting read.
Yes.
Okay. It's come to our attention that a limited number of dealerships are interacting with customers in a manner that is negatively impacting customers and damaging the Ford Motor Company brand and dealer body reputation. Examples of these negative interactions include demanding the customers who are already on the reservation list for the 2022 model year F-150 Lightning make additional deposits or payments. These actions are perceived as threatening customers by withholding their opportunity to convert reservations to orders. This behavior is not allowable under paragraph 6 of the sales and service agreement. Paragraph 6.6 states that the dealer shall conduct dealership operations in a manner that will reflect favorably at all times on the reputation of the dealer, other company authorized dealers, company products, trademarks, and trade names used for Ford Company or any of its subsidiaries. The dealer shall avoid in every way any bait, deceptive, misleading, confusing, or illegal advertising or business practices. If it is determined that your dealership is engaging in such practices, Ford Motor Company reserves the right to redirect that dealership allocation of F-150 Lightning for the entirety of the 2022 model year.
Yeah, take that, dealers. Stop those ridiculous markups.
Well, no, actually, if you paid attention, they're just mad at the deposits that Ford dealers are taking for the reservation. In some cases, non-refundable deposits of $10,000 just to keep your reservation. That doesn't prevent markups when you take delivery of your truck.
What?
Yeah, Ford can't do anything about markups, just reservation deposits.
So Ford dealers are still going to be able to charge, say, an extra $30,000 for a Lightning?
Well, Ford could always withhold the truck from the dealer, which would also prevent the customer from getting it, but I didn't finish reading the bulletin.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Thank goodness. I continue then.
There's the no sale provision.
Okay.
It's exciting read.
Okay.
In order to prevent the resale of 2022 model year F-150 Lightning, Ford is offering support for a no-sale provision to be signed by the customer at the time of purchase. Dealers may add this language to existing closing forms or create a new standalone document. Purchaser hereby agrees that it will not sell, offer to sell, or otherwise transfer any ownership interest in the vehicle prior to the first anniversary of the date hereof. Purchaser further agrees that seller may ask injunctive relief to prevent the transfer of title of the vehicle or demand payment from purchaser of all value received as consideration for the sale or transfer. Dealers should consult their legal counsel to address any state-specific requirements, questions, contact your regional manager.
So this is about the dealers not being able to resell the trucks?
No, this is about customers not being able to sell their Ford Lightnings for 1 year after buying them from the dealership.
What? Wait, and that's the same bulletin that's chastising the Ford dealers for those, I guess some of the business practices that most people are unhappy about?
Yeah, I think Ford is worried about someone like you, let's say, from buying a Ford F-150 Lightning and then marking it up and selling it on eBay.
Okay, we see this all the time. We see it from sneakers to graphics cards.
Yeah, we see it with the Giga Texas belt buckle. You buy it for $150 and then you see it on eBay for $500.
Okay, but I thought this was America. I thought that you could do whatever the hell you wanted. What is this? You buy the truck. Mm-hmm. And then they make you sign something that says, I will not sell this truck for 1 year. What's that all about?
It's bullshit, to be honest. There's no teeth in this because think about it, right? You sign that deal and then you go sell your truck within a year. What's Ford like? Has Ford paid for a private investigator to hang out at your house and to see where your truck is?
Well, I suppose if they could find that the title had been transferred or something.
Okay, but why would a Ford dealer want to spend money and time to go after you? It's only worth whatever difference in price you charged. Like if you bought the truck and then sold it to me for $10,000 more within that year,
right? It's
only worth it to Ford for that $10,000 difference. So are they going to spend $50,000 on legal costs and private investigators to go after you? No, this is all BS. It's just that they're hoping you're so afraid when you sign that agreement that you won't do it.
But why are they doing all this stuff that really is not helping the customer. Like, it's great that Ford was like, hey, stop charging extra for reservations, which I'm pretty sure that Ford collected the reservation deposit. So stop that, because that's illegal sounding to me.
I think it's because the word got out in the press a few weeks ago about what was going on, and Ford had to do something to make it seem like they were doing something.
Okay. And so it doesn't stop the markups.
Nope.
Which is what Ford doesn't want you to do.
Right.
They don't want you. Well, we don't want our customers getting markups.
Dealers can do it, though.
The dealers. So it's
Vinny Bamboozolini can mark it up all he wants.
This is a topic that Zach and I have been pondering a lot about.
Yeah, especially on our Patreon bonus stories.
We've been seeing that Tesla has been testing out the Model S Plaid and other S-based prototypes on Nürburgring in Germany, and we've been going, why have they been doing that?
Yeah, and we've been thinking that they've been working on track mode for the Model S Plaid.
And we were right.
Since track mode was launched in 2018 on the Model 3 Performance, we have taken advantage of instant motor torque to make cornering on the track feel as natural as Ford acceleration. This week, Plaid track mode is rolling out to Model S Plaid vehicles across North America. With Plaid track mode, our goals were simple: achieve the quickest lap time for a production electric vehicle at Germany's Nürburgring, and allow individual adjustability of stability control, handling balance, and regenerative braking to give drivers more authority over vehicle control at the racetrack. Well, let's get into the details.
So there is a lot of stuff in this thing. So Plaid track mode is going to have optimized powertrain cooling, lateral torque vectoring, adjustable vehicle dynamics, adaptive suspension damping, and the performance UI.
Okay, I understood like half of those things.
Right.
Okay, so isn't this kind of exactly what the Model 3 Performance track mode is?
Well, I would say that it has everything that the Model 3 Performance track mode has, and more. So this means that just like the Model 3, the Model S is going to be able to drift, which is exciting.
Nice.
So you're going to be able to adjust a slider, which puts more power to the rear wheels. It's going to allow the back to slip out, which is very fun.
Nice.
But the Plaid will have a few more tricks up its sleeve. For one, it's a tri-motor, right?
Okay.
There's 3 motors. There's one in the front, 2 in the back.
Okay.
So this means that you can get true torque vectoring, which is honestly much better than the Model 3, which simply has an open differential at the back. And in order to do any kind of stability control, it has to brake one of the wheels with an actual brake pad.
I kind of understand that, but like, can you explain it better?
Sure. I mean, so with torque vectoring, in the true sense, you can send more power to one wheel more than another. And what that's going to be able to do
But that would just turn the car.
And what are you trying to do when you're racing?
Oh, you're turning the car around a racetrack.
You're turning the car around the racetrack. So you know how a differential allows for one wheel to turn more than another?
Right.
If you force that to happen, you can turn the car even more effectively.
Does this mean I could go faster into a turn?
Yes. This means that basically you can do much more controlled turning.
Wow. So that is different than the Model 3.
Right. I mean, the Model 3 is still great because it has the front and the rear motor, so it can control the front to back and basically like drift a little bit into the corner and then pull itself out with the front motor.
But I see. But with the Plaid, you can drive yourself into the corner, so you're achieving higher speeds.
Right. So this is kind of a big deal for sports driving enthusiasts. Then the other advantage that the Model S is going to have over, say, the Model 3 is the active suspension damping.
That sounds really cool too, but like, what is it?
So normally you buy a car and it has the suspension that it has. It either has loose suspension, so think like a school bus, which is like bouncy but very comfortable.
Okay.
Or stiff suspension.
Like the Model 3.
Like the Model 3 or a race car, even stiffer than that. Now, if you were a race car driver with a racing team, they would be like tweaking stuff and installing different suspensions for different tracks and all sorts of stuff like that. But that car would then be stuck with that very stiff suspension.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. You have to do a lot of stuff to make it a race car. But are you saying here that basically I can switch it from I'm going to the racetrack today, honey, to I'm going to pick up the kids, honey?
Right. So, I mean, literally you could be pulling off the racetrack, going into a comfort suspension mode, picking up your kids, 5 seconds later, if they went to school next to the race course, which would be a little distracting. And it's active down to the millisecond. So it could tense up. It can go like, went over a big bump.
So that's better than just installing a big coilover. It's actually active, so you can adjust how tight the suspension is.
Exactly. And we've already seen how, with cheetah mode, it can also adjust the height. So in cheetah mode, to get the fastest 0 to 60, it raises the back end. So that way, when the car goes, it's able to put more power down.
So does this mean we're going to see brand new records being broken on tracks all over the world?
I would give it 2 weeks.
But I have a question. We asked this before. Why didn't this just come out with the Plaid? Why did it take so long?
So we've seen multiple different prototypes at Nürburgring. They've come in many different shapes and sizes, from ones with active spoilers to diffusers and all sorts of crazy stuff on it. My guess is that they have to tune track mode to the final design of the Plaid.
Oh, so I mean, I was dreaming like in my head that you could just do this all on a computer, but you really need to take it out in real life and try different things.
Right. So I mean, I think you get a race car driver. You go, all right, take turn 3. How'd that feel? Oh, it felt a little loose. Okay, well, we're gonna adjust that a little bit. And I think that they spent months tweaking it, getting it just so. And I think that this is frankly awesome. I mean, they're able to do this all over the air, and you have so much control over the car.
Well, what's also cool is that the Plaid came out, broke a bunch of records, and now it's going to do it again.
Yes.
So it's just you extend the story.
Right.
And
same car, same hardware.
Yeah. And it's just like getting a present every time you go out to your car.
Exactly.
And by the way, for those of you not in the Tesla world, that can all happen with an over-the-air update. So I mean, it's not like you have to bring it down to a Tesla dealer.
Right.
You just come out to your garage one morning and it's a brand new car.
It'll do it over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay, so Microlino, the tiny EV company, has just unveiled a new look for its soon-to-be produced car.
Okay, hang on. I'm just looking. So these are the two. There's one's the old one and one's the new one. Mm-hmm. Which one's the old one?
The blue one.
Okay, and which one's the new one?
The green one.
Okay. Aren't they the same car?
Well, that's because the changes are under the hood.
Oh, okay. And so in this case, the hood is the front door to the car. So you mean the changes are inside the interior?
No, I mean to the chassis. So,
okay.
Microlino has finished the final design of, and they're going into production. And so they've changed the chassis from their prototype to now a full unibody, and they have a production line up and running that is going to be producing these. So we're going to be seeing this car coming towards the end of this year.
This is arguably one of the cutest cars I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's based on the BMW iZeta, which was like a 1950s bubble car. Mm-hmm. And I think they're set for a comeback here.
I mean, it's the only car I've ever seen where you get in through the front.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this is a 2-person car, and you can buy this with varying ranges. This goes all the way down to about 76 miles.
I mean, it's obviously an urban car, but it's perfect for so many use cases.
Yeah. I think any urban center, it'd be so fun to own a car like that.
Do you think we could fit it in the back of the Rivian?
I don't know.
It is now my great honor to announce.
Quiet down. I can't hear the announcement.
Please keep it down. We're trying to make an announcement.
Sorry, we were just excited about the announcement.
Like I was saying, it is now my great honor to announce the official announcer for the announcement.
What did he say? They're announcing the guy who's going to make the announcement.
Thanks. I am the official announcer for the Volkswagen announcement.
Is there more? Are you going to announce something?
Yes! There will be a very important announcement on March the 9th.
And
what?
What's going to be announced on March the 9th?
We will be announcing the launch of the VW electric minibus.
Didn't we already see that already?
No, you haven't. We've only shown it with camouflage on it. You have not seen the official announcement.
No, I think we have a pretty good idea of what you're talking about.
No, you don't. Here, check this out. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. We've seen that already. Why are you wasting our time with these stupid announcements?
They're not stupid. They're important. How would anyone know we're going to launch anything unless we announce it?
Didn't your CEO just tweet it?
Yeah, but this is how we get press attention. We invite all you guys to this integrated media event and schmooze you with embargoed press releases.
But isn't this just a 1-hour Zoom call? Couldn't I be playing with my kids right now?
Yeah, so break out your calendars, folks. Clear off March the 9th, because VW wants to have your full attention unveiling the ID Buzz Electro Microbus, which they unveiled, by the way, at the Detroit Auto Show in 2017.
And listen, back then I was really excited about it. But as we talked about before, VW's new design has kind of killed it for me.
Yeah, I mean, let us know how you feel down in the comments. But, I mean, I think they just made it worse. I mean, I really hope that I'm wrong and that this is just some kind of camouflaged microbus and that the design we fell in love with 5 years ago is under there somewhere. But I think they just kept futzing with it. And I think that, like, when you hire a new designer, they can't just be like, well, that was great. Great. That's what we're going to do.
I won't touch anything. They go, well, obviously we need new lines. We need new lines everywhere.
I'm about to redesign the whole thing. Start from scratch.
I want to take a cargo van and not change anything about that.
I want that real 1990s minivan look if we can get it.
I really want to come out on March 9th and apologize to VW. I want to come out and be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't have faith in you guys.
I will, by the way. If it looks like what I think we all agree was a great looking microbus, then I will apologize because we've all been waiting for that
The original
microbus.
concept, look.
In fact, I'll go one step further. If you go back to the 1960s microbus and just electrify that, I'll be happy.
You could scale it up by like 5-10%.
Yeah.
And it would fit.
Exactly.
And everyone,
would be happy.
VW, are you listening? Everyone would love it.
Yes.
Because it's so like
classic.
Why do all these car companies go like, well, what's our good brand right now? And they're like, I know, it's the Equinox. And it's like, no. How about go back in time, pull something from the past where it's like everyone loved that car.
I can prove your point.
Okay.
Do you remember the PT Cruiser?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a great looking car, but it pulled back from older design look sensibility, and it got older Americans to fall in love with it. And
true.
They did. They bought it like crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, yes.
It wasn't a great car.
It wasn't a great car.
But the style sold a lot of people, even though it wasn't that great.
And this shows you how important design is. I mean, look back at our Microlino story. It's not that a four-wheel small electric vehicle is the bomb. Like, there's a lot of them. But if it looks really cute or cool or whatever, like, that captures our imagination and we want it.
So if you want VW to go back to the 1960s design, or at least their concept, hit the like button. Because then we can, when we're talking to Volkswagen, which I'm sure we're going to do in the future, we can say, hey, remember that video? Look at how many likes it had.
And by talking, do you mean...
Just hit the like button.
Yeah.
Worst case, it helps out the growth of this channel.
And thank you to Cybertruck Owners Club. They sponsor our show. There you can find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update, and you can find your place in line because there's 1.3 million of you, and you want to know where you're at.
You can check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. So Ethan and I just finished our review of the Segway C80 electric moped.
Wow, that's really good looking.
Yeah. Rev Rides was kind enough to let us test it out. It's a really great ride. It's super comfortable and relaxed.
So what's the range?
Well, you should check out our review for that.
Okay, so where do I find that?
That's over on our Now Let's Review channel. We cover all sorts of personal e-mobility products over there, from e-mopeds, scooters, longboards, e-bikes, and more.
So that's Now Let's Review.
Yeah, and I really like the Segway C80, and I want to thank Rev Rides for helping us out with that review, but also for having excellent customer support to our viewers.
Yeah, I mean, it really helps to have an American company that you can call if you ever run into trouble or if you have questions with your e-mobility products, because you and I have realized this. So many of these are made in China, which is great, but then if you have a question or a problem...
You don't really want to be dealing with a Chinese company.
Right. I mean, you're off by 12 hours, first of all, and then there's a communication, difficulties. Having an American company that you can find out where to get it serviced or have questions is so nice. And it's also great because you can get these guys on the phone and they're super friendly.
And they have a great discount to our viewers, which you can find that code over on our review on the Now Let's Review channel.
Now, I just do want to talk about the C80 for a second. I've had so many people ride it, including myself, and it's so different than our other bikes that we've reviewed because it's a scooter. And for most of us, unless you've ridden an ICE scooter, a gas-powered scooter, it's kind of been a dream of mine ever since I was a kid, going to Europe, seeing Vespas, to be like, I'm going to have one of those. And as a kid, I did. When I was 16, I got a, gas-powered scooter, and it was so much fun. But I got to say, this is so much better.
Yeah, it's silent.
Yeah, my old one.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely check out the review. We had a blast testing it out for you.
And so many people that have tried it, my sister's ridden on it, all my friends have ridden on it. Everyone loves it. So yeah, go check out that review because this might be something that if you weren't interested in some of our other things that we've reviewed, this might be the one.
Yeah, and spring is just around the corner.
All right, you can't call it autopilot, but I guess you can stick other words in front of the word pilot.
Yeah, Volvo announced last week that they are going to launch Ride Pilot later this year in California.
Volvo's head of R&D, Mats Moberg, said, "We are proud to announce the planned U.S. launch of our first truly unsupervised autonomous driving feature as we look to set a new industry standard for autonomy without compromising safety. Having Zenseact's brand new AD software and Luminar's LiDAR standard in our new fully electric SUV is a game changer for Volvo cars, as well as for automotive safety and autonomous driving."
Okay, so this video isn't really showing us much, except that the car will have 25 sensors, which is a lot, and Zero collisions. Is that there have been zero collisions or there will be zero collisions?
I mean, I love autonomy, but I think you might be setting expectations a little high there, Volvo. I mean, zero collisions.
But to be fair, Volvo has been testing autonomous cars in Sweden and London since 2014.
Volvo says it plans to have Ride Pilot on the road this summer and in the hands of customers soon after that. So, I mean, I'm excited. It again shows that many smart minds are working on what is arguably one of the most challenging engineering problems today.
But I don't think this is like going to be for the average customer.
I mean, they said it's
25 sensors.
I mean, if you throw enough LiDARs on there.
That's called money.
Yeah, I don't think they said they're going to do the cheapest solution.
But I mean, if you can't do it for everyone, then it's not really a solution, is it?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going after here. And I don't know if we're going to just see this in certain slow neighborhoods or something.
Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Anyway, no, this is going to be in California. But, you know, is it going to be another Waymo where it's driving around in San Francisco? I don't know. But look, I don't want to be negative. Like, I'm excited. I want to see companies trying this. I am a little bit skeptical, but I'd love to be proven wrong. So Claudio tweeted out, Tesla's Model 3 is the #1 car sold in Switzerland for 2021. All vehicles, including ICE and PHEV. Great job to Elon and team.
And Elon said, yay, Switzerland.
And so get this, not just Switzerland, the UK too. Well, almost. So battery electric vehicles, or BEV sales in the UK in 2021 went bonkers.
Already in 2020, BEVs made up 6.6% of car sales, but in 2021, that number went up to 11.6%.
Yeah. So as you can see in this chart here from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, petrol-powered cars dipped below 50% of market share to 46% of the market. And take a look at diesel.
Wow, cut in half.
Yeah. And the Tesla Model 3 has decimated the EV competition in the UK last year. Look at this chart.
Wow. And even compared to all other powered cars, doesn't matter if it's ICE or anything, the Tesla Model 3 came in second place in the UK in 2021.
Yeah, and don't forget, Tesla Model Y hasn't even hit the UK yet. So, I mean, just wait till Giga Berlin.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this year. Tesla's already crushing it, and they could be doing a little bit more.
Yeah. So let's talk about solar roof shingles.
Oh, there's some new development with Tesla Solar Roof, finally?
Not Tesla, GAF. GAF just revealed their own solar roof shingle, the Timberline Solar Shingle. It's a Class F shingle, so that means wind speeds up to 110 miles an hour. It operates in temperatures from minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And each shingle weighs 10.1 pounds and measures 64 by 17 by 1 inch.
Wow, those are long panels. Now, who's GAF?
Well, they're one of the biggest roofing manufacturers in the country. So there's 5 million U.S. roofs that are re-roofed every year,
okay.
And GAF re-roofs 1/4 of those, so over 1 million roofs a year.
Wow. Okay, so this is a company that makes like roof shingles and all that kind of product.
All the stuff you need for your roof, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And GAF says it should cost half of the Tesla solar roof.
Whoa. Shots fired. Okay, so I see that they connect all the electrical connections up in a line, and then they cover those connections. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't look exactly the same as like the Tesla solar roof.
True. I mean, there's so much to talk about here. You and I have been installing roofs together before, so we actually have
on a roof.
We have a lot of experience, and I think we should discuss this further on Patreon bonus stories because there's a lot of points I want to get to.
Okay. So yeah, join us over on the Patreon bonus stories. Head over to patreon.com/nowyknow and sign up for $1 a month. You can check it out.
Yeah, get some roofing tips. So we brought you the story months back when Tesla was first building this 81 megapack project in Angleton, Texas.
Now it's online and ready for work. Remember that each megapack stores 3 megawatt hours of energy. That's 200 times what a Powerwall can store.
So let's do some math. 81 times 3 megawatt hours is 243 megawatt hours of energy storage.
Using the 4-hour rule, this can supply about 20,000 homes with power during a power outage.
And the 4-hour rule, obviously, is that a battery can't store power forever. And so when you're doing the basic engineering of a battery storage system, you kind of have to apply some amount of time. Like, how long is this battery going to be needed for? Most power outages last less than 4 hours, so you multiply it by 4.
Okay, so a megapack costs about $1 million, and then there's installation. But this is, I mean, cheap insurance for utilities.
Yeah, I mean, let's do the math. Say $100 million for this 20,000 household battery that Tesla installed. Amortize it over, say, 10 years.
Okay.
So that would be $500 a year per household to ensure that no households lose power. And it allows you to install wind and solar onto that microgrid.
So, I mean, this is great. This is like having, like a power wall in your house, except it's on the grid.
But here's the problem. The utilities have no incentive to do this.
What do you mean?
Well, what does the utility care if you have a power outage here and there? I mean, do you pay them less?
Well, I mean, you're not paying them for the electricity during the outage.
True. But other than that, they don't really feel any pain if they can't give you power 100% of the time.
Right.
And you're not going to pay them more if they install this. You're not going to like send them a bonus, are you?
I mean, can't you like call them up and say, hey, all my groceries went bad. You owe me money.
You can call your insurance company.
Huh.
So that's what I mean. We have a system that was set up wrong, in my opinion, because you got a monopoly, right? I mean, this is America, and yet we've got a monopoly. Most places you can't choose like, I'll choose Jesse's power company over Zach's power company.
Well, and you can choose like your power provider, but you can't choose your grid.
Right.
It's not like you'd be like, actually, I don't want National Grid. They're like, well, we have all the
wires,
power lines,
right.
So you're going to pay us.
Right. So there's no incentive there. And then you have a Department of Public Utilities, state level government group that regulates this.
The famous one. ERCOT. Remember ERCOT?
Yeah, Texas has their own, but that didn't work very well for you, did it, Texas? No. So there's no incentive to make sure that things are done well. And that's kind of what I'm saying here is like, that's why I think with Tesla becoming a power utility, we're going to see options.
Because there's a little bit more incentive if Tesla is the power utility, because they can actually sell you products.
Right.
I mean, having a power wall in your house empowers you in so many ways. It allows you to, even if, for instance, this happened to us during a show. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Tree came down, hit just our line to the street.
Yeah.
Normally, and this has happened before, because we live in a very tree-centric place, we've just lost power for about a week, right? Because they have to, well, we don't have anyone in the area because we weren't expecting a storm or anything.
Right.
And, or if there is a storm, it's our last priority to fix your one house as opposed to like Main Street. So we were super lucky to be on power walls because it kicked in like that. The camera kept rolling. It's plugged into the wall.
Yep.
So everything kept working. That is the advantage of having distributed energy storage along with distributed power generation, because for the week that we had to wait for National Grid to come fix it, we had solar on the roof, which was charging the battery pack.
This goes to our book club. You should join us on Patreon. We're reading a book about Lights Out by Ted Koppel right now, and we have a lot to talk about in that book club meeting.
So if you're a classic car guy, you've probably already heard of this amazing converted 1972 Plymouth Satellite. It's got all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about the bells and whistles. I want to know what's under the hood.
It's a Model S ludicrous rear drive unit and a 100 kilowatt hour Model S battery pack.
So this is just a Tesla with a body kit.
No, it's, I mean, I don't know, kinda?
How embarrassing for Stellantis, though.
Wait, what?
Plymouth, made by Chrysler, which was bought and divested from Daimler, bought by Fiat, conglomerated into Stellantis.
Wow, is that really how that happened?
Yeah, and I think they should be embarrassed that the owner of this car, Kevin, had basically zero options to choose from Mopar.
What's Mopar?
Motor Parts, remember, 1937, the company that supplied Chrysler with all their parts. And I mean, they don't have any electric vehicles to, well, I mean, that's not true. There's the Fiat 500e. So let me just see if you can find a Mopar part for the 500e.
Okay.
No. You can't order the motor for that, so that's discontinued. So, I mean, it's embarrassing that Tesla put these car brands to shame with the Model S and then the Model 3, and then Stellantis claims that they're going to have some upcoming EVs, but before they can even do that, a guy in his garage converts a classic like this into something way better than almost every other Stellantis vehicle out there in terms of performance, all thanks to Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, it is embarrassing.
Yeah, because, I mean, if Kevin had the choice, he probably would have been like, I'm going to put a Mopar motor in here.
Right. And there was no, like, expense spared on this car. That's not what you do with classic cars. No. You pour money into them. So if Mopar just had, hey, you want our conversion kit? You want, what size motor would you like? What power of motor would you like? You want a battery pack? Do you want one that fits in the back of the 1972 Plymouth Satellite? Or one that just basically fits in any trunk? No? They don't have anything? They have nothing. They have zero Nothing at all. They don't have any parts. They don't have any. So, I mean, first of all, great job to Kevin on this build.
Go watch the Rich Rebuilds video that shows the build, and they drove it. I mean, Steven and Rich had a great time with this.
Yeah.
And the exciting part to me is, look, it took Kevin a year and a half, but he wasn't spending every moment on it. He said he was lucky if he spent like a few days here and there. Mm-hmm. A guy who had never done an EV conversion in his life came out with what is arguably one of the best EV conversions on the planet.
Right.
And this is exciting because this is a preview of the future.
Yeah. Well, and how sad is it, though, that it's all Tesla stuff? Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, I found this cool. Nope. I just took a Model S and put it in the car. And of course, it's going to be the coolest thing because it already is arguably the coolest car. You just made it look different.
Yeah.
Again, if this was a movie or a book, you'd be like, dude, you can't write it like this. Like, this is overkill. Right. You already have that fictional car company exceeding the capabilities of all the other car companies.
Right.
And then you choose like arguably one of the smaller car companies and you have like one of their classic cars get converted using that technology. Like, that's just embarrassing.
Yeah. 12-second quarter-mile time in a car this big.
Right.
It actually weighs less now than a Model S.
Wow.
Yeah.
So GM has acquired a 25% ownership of Seattle-based Pure Watercraft a couple months ago, and now at CES, we're seeing one of Pure Watercraft's first products.
Something, by the way, that I've been waiting for, an all-electric pontoon boat. I think this is pretty much an American thing. I mean, Europeans, weigh in here, comment below. I don't recall seeing these in Europe on my travels, but maybe I wasn't focused on lakes and stuff. But anyway, here in the US, pontoon boats are very popular, especially on ponds and lakes, because they're fun for families to hang out on. They're nice and big, stable platforms. You can have cookouts, you can watch fireworks, you can go fishing, you can go hunting.
Right, and they don't have to have the specs.
Right. They're for lazy, hanging out and having a good time.
They're not really that seaworthy. There's no real waves except for that other guy with the speedboat. There's nothing really that you need to worry about with a pontoon boat. It just floats. But so this is an electric one?
Yeah. Here are the specs. 25 feet, seats 10, top speed is 20 knots, which is actually, I think, faster than you need. It comes with either a single or a twin pure outboard system motor. You got to change the name of that, by the way.
Pure outboard system motor.
Well, because you're going to abbreviate it.
Okay, good call.
GM battery pack up to 66 kilowatt hours. Now, here's my question. That's not a Bolt pack, is it? Hopefully it's an Ultium. But here's the thing. I did a little research. The pontoon boat market has taken off since COVID hit. It was up 20% last year to over $2 billion market. Wow. It's now expected to double in the next 6 years as more and more families are like, what can we do to pass the time?
Okay. But what is the price?
$45,000 for the single motor, $60,000 for the double and the big battery. They are now taking $100 pre-orders on their website.
Okay, and what's the range?
The range really depends on the use case. Here's a chart showing different things that you do. You don't really take a pontoon boat for long distances usually. You just hang out. So it's more about you just putt around a lake. I don't think it really needs a big range.
I mean, why does it need a 66 kilowatt hour battery pack?
I mean, some people take them to go like hunting and stuff. And so maybe if you're going deep into the Everglades or wherever you go pontooning there, I don't know. But you can do them on ocean bays, Miami Bay or something.
Sure. Okay. And then $45,000, isn't that? And $60,000, isn't that way expensive?
It's a little pricey. I mean, I was pricing out, you can get a regular combustion engine pontoon boat starting around 20,000. So yeah, that's a little more, but no maintenance.
That's true. No, I mean, there's no, oh yeah.
And no refueling and none of the smell and none of the noise. I mean, when you're hanging out with your family, most of the times you shut off the engine and drift because you don't want to have the engines running.
I mean, that's pretty interesting. And it's also interesting that GM acquired 25% of them because then they were able to use to show it being towed by the Chevy Silverado.
That was really smart marketing.
Really smart marketing on GM's part. I have to.
So you're here for a pickup truck. We can throw in the boat for $10,000 off, huh?
But I think maybe my favorite product unveiled at CES is the all-electric Bobcat compact track loader, the T7X.
Hang on. We've had all-electric skid steers before.
No, but those still had hydraulics. This does not.
Then how does it work?
Okay, so normally with your typical Bobcat, it has an engine, and that engine is powering the hydraulic motor. Right. And that's just pumping hydraulic fluid, building up a lot of pressure, and then you open valves to do stuff. So right?
Yeah.
That takes about 50 gallons of hydraulic fluid, which is
Really?
not the kind of stuff that you want to just be throwing around.
50 gallons?
50 gallons of hydraulic fluid and usually a diesel motor, but even the all-electric ones that we've seen up until this point have still had the 50 gallons of hydraulic fluid because you just basically replace the diesel motor with an electric motor.
Okay.
This has done away with all the hydraulic systems. They've replaced everything with their own electric actuators.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And that means that this thing is insanely quiet.
Wow.
Which I don't think that anyone has talked about. Everyone's kind of focused on like it's green, it's good for the environment. I just want to put an idea out there. Just plant a little seed in your head. Nighttime grading. Okay? We come to your house, you don't even know we're here.
Miss McGillicuddy, we can do this tonight while you're sleeping.
Right. They come in, put on the night vision goggles, and then you could be grading all night long. No one would hear a thing.
This is why it's your favorite, because you want to start this company. You've been looking for excuses to wear your night vision goggles, and this is it.
I'm just saying, how cool would it be? Because you have other work happening during the day at a job site.
No, but
so get all this Bobcat work done out of the way.
But I mean, 50 gallons of hydraulic fluid versus, what did I read? 1 quart of eco-friendly coolant?
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about maintenance. Hydraulic systems are known for needing a lot of maintenance. Hoses burst and all that stuff.
And it's dirty and messy because as soon as one hose breaks, there starts to go your 50 gallons of hydraulic fluid. I mean, and you have to act fast to prevent it from just leaking out everywhere. And then you have to go buy all the hydraulic fluid. It's not fun.
So this is why Sunbelt Rentals, one of the U.S.'s largest equipment rental companies with over 1,000 locations, has committed to, quote, a significant investment in a large fleet of Bobcat T7Xs.
Exactly. You have way less maintenance. It's just a thing. Wow. I think we're getting closer to the point where, because you're like, why do you love your cell phone so much?
It's not full of hydraulic fluid.
You don't know how. You don't have to fix anything with your phone unless you drop it, and that's your fault. It's just a thing.
Right.
You put a magic stick, you put a magic cable into it, and it magically works. You don't have to go like,
that's a good point.
I have to go get a hose for my phone. You don't have to think about any of that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We have a piece of large electric equipment outside, and because it's silent, I love using it.
Right. And that goes for our cars, too.
All right, so everyone's been talking about this story. A small startup in Michigan called Our Next Energy, a.k.a. One, replaced a Tesla Model S battery pack with their own and drove it 752 miles on a single charge.
Basically, One used a 199.8 kilowatt-hour pack of their own design using nickel cobalt manganese cathode and a graphite anode, and their pack was 331 kilograms heavier.
I have so much to say about this. Let's discuss this on Investor Club bonus stories this week.
Yeah, because it touches a lot on battery investments. And yeah, I don't want to say too much here. It's just, there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and join us on the Investor Club. You get access to all of our Investor Club bonus stories and all of our Patreon bonus stories, and you get the shout out. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to sign up for the Investor Club.
All right, it's time for Into the Future, sponsored by our friends at Henson Shaving. Now, we've been talking about Henson for a while now, and I've seen that a bunch of our viewers have picked one up for themselves.
And it's so good to know that it's not just me who likes my Henson shaver, but since I've owned mine longer, I'm starting to appreciate just how long this box of 100 blades lasts.
Yeah, and I really don't know for how much longer Henson is going to offer this, but if you order your Henson shaver and use the code NOWYOUKNOW or click the link in the description, you can add that box of 100 blades for free at Henson Shaving. All right, so check this out, Jesse. Electric Utility National Grid has teamed up with the town of Melrose, Massachusetts, just a few towns away, the California-based company Amp Up, EVSE, and Voltrek, and they installed 10 of these level 2 chargers throughout the town of Melrose.
Those are just utility poles.
Oh, hang on. Wait for it. See, use the app to call for the charger to come down. These provide up to 9.6 kilowatts of power. Then when you're done charging, the cable simply retracts.
So I didn't know that Melrose was like a seedy place where you had to hide all the chargers away from everyone. I thought it was a nice town. I really did. I had no idea.
No, that's not like because people are going to vandalize them. That's because the winter in Massachusetts is snowy, icy, horrible, right? And the less stuff you have on the ground, the better. I mean, these are protected from the weather.
Oh, and the plows.
And the plows.
Because
you don't want to plow hitting your EV charger.
No, you do not. I mean,
who hit the EV charger? It's coming out of your paycheck, Ralph.
And a big thank you to Plug and Play EV YouTube channel for filming this experience both in the summer and now in the winter.
Yeah, check out the full videos on his channel. We put the link down below. And I just want to discuss a few things here. So does this, first of all, I want to drive down to Melrose right now and check them out. Does this make sense to put them on utility poles?
I mean, you got the power right there.
So it must be a pretty cheap installation.
You got the pole already there. So it's not like you have to be like, oh, now there's a pole in my chargers. No one's worried about that. The looks,
A little bulky.
I could go either way.
I bet they can get smaller over time.
I think it's nice from a vandalism point of view. I mean, if you leave your car charged, obviously they can come cut the cord.
But that's true with any EV.
It's true of any EV and any charger. And now, what are they going to climb up the pole to? James was here. Like what? No, it's so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, reduce cost, winter problems go away. The only problem I can see is that now you have to charge near a pole. Like you're limited to wherever the poles are. But in Massachusetts, there's a lot of poles.
So many poles. Yeah, I think that this works great until the utilities do what they promised and bury all the power
That's
utility
probably
poles.
what's going to happen. Yep, it's taken them decades, but they're going to do it now.
I love how that's something that they promised to do and they haven't buried anything.
All right, it's time for Going Green. We're sponsored by EcoAir. Remember, you can get those new bumper stickers that say, please be patient, self-driving car.
Or you can pick yourself up one of these awesome shirts, and we carve and offset the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of every product. Then we plant 10 trees for every order, and we help cap a well with our friends at the Well Done Foundation. We try and make this like as best as we could possibly make it.
And don't forget the light show. We're going to talk about that on Community Mealtime. All right, so the new governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul, she gave her first State of the State address. For those of you non-Americans, that's what governors do.
Yep.
And she called for 100% electric school buses by 2035.
Woo!
Now, I just want to remind everybody, that's only 13 years from now. I mean, like, It sounds like it's a long way away, but like we're already at 2022. She's also proposing legislation that would require all new school bus purchases be zero emissions by 2027.
What are you confused about?
She said all electric school buses by 2035, but then she said zero emissions by 2027.
Right. So
Hydrogen?
I mean, how else are you going to be zero emissions?
Well, I mean, I think you're right, but why would you want to put kids on a bus with a bomb on it?
Well, no. They've tried really hard. They've made them really safe. You can shoot a gun at some of these hydrogen fuel tanks and they won't explode.
But I'm old enough to know that no matter how you design something comes along and like a train hits a bus, right?
That would never happen.
It did. And very sadly, 2 people died, but not the whole busload of kids. It didn't blow up like a bomb. If that were to happen with the hydrogen fuel cell on board, it might, because I'm talking about the hydrogen tank itself. The hydrogen tank is full of compressed hydrogen. And as much as no one in the hydrogen world wants to talk about it, you don't want to do that if you can help it.
There have been some examples where you have a building,
and then there's no building,
and then there's no building anymore. That building, by the way, you might think that was that hydrogen production plant that blew up. No, that was just a silicone plastics plant, and it exploded because of a hydrogen leak. Then there's also this hydrogen fueling station which blew up. So it does happen.
Yeah, and I just think a school bus is the last place where you want that to happen.
Where it's going to be going over all sorts of bumps and dirt roads and
train tracks
and on the highway to take the kids to the museum.
I just think this is one of those cases where Americans, again, until we experience something, we don't think it can come true. And so the first time this actually happens, and I hope it never does, but if it does, then we're going to go, why did we ever allow that? And then the NTSB will say, you can no longer do that. I say don't do it to begin with. Put electric parts on a bus, make it much safer. And so this is great news, though, by the way, because, I mean, as the American Lung Association national president and CEO Harold Wimmer said, close to 25 million kids ride to school every day in America on diesel-powered school buses that emit millions of tons of pollution per year. The toxic pollution in diesel exhaust can harm children's brain development and respiratory health.
Right. And the 25 million kids here, it's not like we just have the same 25 million kids and, all those kids out in whatever state you happen to not care about. No. It's the whole country, and every year the oldest kids, they graduate and they go to college,
Right.
Or maybe they don't because their brains don't work so good because they had to sit on a smelly diesel bus.
Yeah.
And then there's new little children, little kindergartners stepping on the bus for the first time, breathing in those fumes, and their brains are absorbing all the awful chemicals. Not a great thing that we do.
And this is a great story, though, because it means that if New York, which is a giant state, is demanding this, then the industry is going to take notice and it's going to start happening faster.
And I can see why the governor has demanded 2035. These school buses have lives.
Right.
They don't like go out to parties and stuff, but
they're not like the Magic School Bus.
They last a certain amount of time.
Right,
then you need to replace
them.
And if we start to replace them with EVs starting around now, then we can have all electric school buses by 2035.
So I'm sorry, little children of today in New York, you're going to have to just
everywhere.
Breathe it in for the next 12 years, but
suck it up.
Someday your kids won't have to. All right, it's time for Sunspots. So let's go to Thailand, where the world's largest floating solar farm is now operational. 145,000 panels floating on the Lam Dam Noi River near the Sirindhorn Dam. That's 45 megawatts of power, all from solar panels.
Nope.
What do you mean, nope? Thailand's prime minister now says that Thailand can attain carbon neutrality by 2050 now instead of its earlier pledge of 2065.
Nope.
What do you mean, nope? There's 70 soccer fields of floating solar panels that let light through them, but help save 460,000 cubic meters of water from being lost to evaporation every year. And because they're on water, they operate 15% more efficiently.
Nope.
What do you keep saying nope for?
Because according to PV Magazine, China now has the world's largest floating solar array, 320 megawatts in Dezhou in China's Shandong province. Huaneng Power International, the company that installed it, says that this floating solar farm will produce 550 gigawatt hours of electricity every year.
Wait a minute. That sounds preposterously large. I mean, according to the EIA, the average U.S. resident uses about 11,000 kilowatt hours of electricity per year. So let's do some math. 550 gigawatt hours is enough electricity for 50,000 people. No, that's big, but...
Yeah, I mean, do the math. 320 megawatts of solar panels means that at peak output, the system makes 320 megawatts of electricity. Say it can do that for about 6 hours a day. For 300 days a year, that's about 550 gigawatt hours. So the math checks out.
Wow. I mean... This is so much bigger than the one in Thailand.
Right. And again, it's being used on a river. And something that you might not know is that rivers tend to evaporate a lot of stuff.
You get two big benefits here. Yeah. The evaporation and the cooler solar panels means they're more efficient. Like it's a win-win-win.
Yeah. Now, obviously, they're out on water, which could lead to corrosion, but it's not salt water, so It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Hey, and if you want to go solar, and I don't think you want to put these on a lake, but put them on your house.
Put them on your pool.
You got questions, right? And call our friends at Energy Pal. They're the experts that are going to help you go solar for less.
I want you to ask Energy Pal. I want to put solar on my lake, and I just want to see what they say. Test them.
You might hear a hang up. I don't know. All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. This is a really important story. Joaquin sent us this story, and you're going to want to see it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joaquin, and I'm pretty sure that Tesla just saved my life. On December 1st, I was driving to get a gift for my significant other. And I was sitting at a red light turned green, and I drove like normal. Then it comes a car out of nowhere. It came from my left side. When I looked over, all I saw was a grill, and next thing I know, I was asleep. I came to about 10 seconds later. I felt massive pain in my head, and my hand hurt as well. So bystanders came, they woke me up, they helped pull me out the car, and I was assisted over to the sidewalk area. When I got there, I heard screaming. Now, me being a paramedic, I heard the screaming and I went to go see what was going on. It was the other driver, the person who hit me. They were screaming in pain. Due to HIPAA, I'm not going to share the specifics of the medical case, but she was hurt. The other driver was also hurt. I was the only person able to walk away from the incident, even though I was the person that was hit. Now, as you see in the video, that I am playing here, I was T-boned. And after the police officers arrived on the scene and spoke to the other individual, they said that the other person was going at least 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. Now, the speed limit in this area is 45 miles per hour, which means this person was going at least 65. They ran the red light, trying to make it through, whether they were on their phone or, distracted or not. The bottom line is they did something wrong. They then proceeded to tell the police officer that that's not what happened. They told the police officer that it was my fault. And this is me after providing first aid to them until the actual EMS arrived. Thankfully, Tesla has this, which is a little flash drive that goes into the glove box. And we all know it as whether it's called sentry mode footage or dash cam. Bottom line is, it's a Tesla. Never lie when you hit a Tesla. I was able to play back all the footage for the police officer, and he was able to quickly see that it was not my fault. Interestingly, prior to that, it was he said, she said, and all the bystanders, after taking out their phones and recording what happened, they left. They didn't stick around. So it was literally he said, she said, and the police officer was initially challenging me. But once I presented him with this, well, no more challenging that. I believe that had I been in a different vehicle, I might not have survived that. I did a quick Google search and I found some other crashes of incidents where it was almost identical to mine. The drivers often were severely injured or did not survive at all. The fact that I was able to walk away with just this as an injury, a broken finger, is truly incredible. My insurance company, after everything, offered my rental car. I declined because there was no Teslas available. Now, personally, I don't feel safe in any vehicle other than a Tesla. If you're a driver on the road today, please stay vigilant, stay off your phone, focus on what's going on. But more specifically, realize you are driving a giant metal death trap. Now, maybe one day these cars will be full self-driving, hopefully very soon, to the point at which this conversation becomes irrelevant. But please, pay attention. And lastly, I'd like to thank Tesla for making safety the #1 priority in product design. Also, I'd like to thank you, Zach and Jesse, because without you, I wouldn't have even known of Tesla in the first place. I am starting a YouTube channel that is reviewing disruptive technologies. There's a couple of videos up there now, but those are just some of the early ones. There's plenty to come, so please subscribe if you can, check out the videos we have currently, and be ready because there's a lot coming. Back to you, Zach and Jesse. Now you know.
Wow. I just think we need to take a breath there. First of all, if he had been driving any other car, would he be alive? Second of all, if he had been driving any other car, would anyone have believed him that it was not his fault? I really want to talk to him. I really want to go visit him. Mm-hmm. You should definitely go check out his YouTube channel. It sounds like he's going to be making a lot of cool content. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure it was a really difficult story to tell. I'm just so glad that you're okay. I mean, I'm sad that your arm got damaged, but like, good on you for 10 seconds after I come to jump out of the car and go help other people. Like, you're an amazing person.
Hit me, I don't think that would happen to me.
And he brings up a really good point, which is after an accident, I think the same thing too. Like, oh, well, people got this covered, someone's got a video or whatever, but they're all gone, first of all. And second of all, like, no one got a video of it happening. Your car did, luckily, but like, people just say whatever they say, like, oh, I think it was his fault. Right. I mean, the fact that he could pull out the stick, give it to the police officer and be like, dude, not my fault.
Right.
What if on top of the horrible accident, the police had been like, yeah, you're coming down to the station with us. Like, I'm just so glad this turned out the way it did. Thank you for sharing this story. This is why we do the show. You're not going to hear about this for some reason on the mass media because they just don't want to tell that story.
I mean, car traveling 61 miles an hour hits you in the driver's side and you have a broken finger.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad that you're okay.
And I'm so glad that you stuck to your guns and you're not going to drive another car. Like, good for you, man.
Completely understand. You might be saying, like, oh, lightning doesn't strike twice. It's actually do. Yeah. It does. And I know this wasn't lightning, but anything that happens in a particular place is likely to happen again.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story. If you'd like to share some stories with us, send them to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. We'd really like to see them.
All right, it's time now for our Patreon bonus stories. We do this every single week. This is for our patrons over on patreon.com/nowyouknow. You support us for as little as $1 a month, and you get access to all of our Patreon Patreon stories. And we do this, every week. So
Yeah, what are we talking about this week?
we're talking about Daymac.
Harley Davidson Livewire versus a Tesla Model S Plaid. And
No, you know what? If they want to know, they can go sign up. It's just $1. And it's good. I promise you, it's good.
all right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the shout outs. Who do we got this week, Jess?
Got Hellas Near,
Jason Liang,
David,
Robert Walter,
Hunter T. Chapman,
Egg Rollington,
Kevin Jones,
Electrified Ice,
Bare Bones,
Evil Bob,
Richard Haywood,
Paul Robinson,
Stan Ivanov,
Wanstone,
Rod Dietz,
Electric Future,
Neil Cowdill,
Michael Neagle,
Dennis Ballack,
Neil Chakrabarty,
Larry Gable,
Timothy Aaron,
Eric Johnson.
and Paul Landino.
Thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do the show without you.
We can't do it without Elon's tweets. And Jack tweeted out some hex. And then Elon said, reminds me when I hex edited Ultima V to get out of the final maze.
Okay.
Okay, but what this is the first Bitcoin transaction from 13 years ago. 3 years ago, way back in 2019, Elon said, Raptor just achieved power level needed for Starship and Super Heavy. Design requires at least 170 metric tons of force. Engine reached 172 metric tons and 257 bar chamber, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
Fast forward to today.
Yes. Raptor 2 now operates routinely at 300 bar main chamber pressure.
So see that it went up.
Quite a bit.
Yes.
Wow.
Massimo says the world just set a record for sending the most rockets into orbit. The total number of global launch attempts has doubled during the last decade. In 2021, a total of 144 orbital launches were attempted, of which 133 were successful.
Elon says tonnage to orbit is more fundamental metric.
This is like when your teacher that you had in high school kept saying the same thing like every day, and you're like, whatever. And then 20 years later, you're like, oh, that's why it kept trying to get into my brain.
Yep.
Elon, me sharing a meme that I know will make at least one person genuinely happy. It ain't much, but it's honest work. World of Engineering said the Earth is almost never shown like this. And in the meantime, this is our planet from the side of the Pacific Ocean.
Elon said Earth should be called water. Makes sense.
Scott Adams says, I'm not saying the people working in technical fields are smarter than people who work in marketing, but it's worth noting that Elon does the job of an entire marketing department by tweeting while he shits. World of Engineering said, any idiot can build a bridge that stands, but it takes an engineer to build a bridge that barely stands. And Elon tweeted out nice, which was actually corresponding to the day he got 69 million followers.
Nice.
Elon said Starlinks with lasers deployed to orbit.
Uh-oh. Lasers.
Frickin' laser beams!
No, these are just informational
Lasers.
links.
That's how it starts.
That's very good.
Black Model 3 said, full self-driving beta 10.8 is the best version we've had yet. Mind-blowing.
Elon said beta 10.9 should be ready in about a week.
Beta 11 with single city highway software stack and many other architectural upgrades probably next month.
So that's exciting.
Elon tweeted out this meme of J.R.R. Tolkien saying, the elites don't want you to know this, but the ducks at the park are free. You can take them home. I have 458 ducks.
Is that true? Did he actually say that?
Elon tweeted out this video of the Starship launch and catch tower. Lex Friedman said the Chopsticks Tower is one of the wildest engineering designs ever. Can't wait to see it catch Starship. I totally agree with you, Lex. And then he went on to say 15 years ago, Steve Jobs unveiled the first iPhone. Now there's 6.3 billion smartphone users. Tech adoption has been incredibly fast and it's getting faster. This can either help humanity or destroy it. Both outcomes should be considered with every new thing we build.
Elon said, mind-blowing that over 80% of humans have a smartphone.
Now, I saw some recent data. I think it's 91% of humans have it. Results of the poll, what did we ask this week?
We asked if you were excited about the Chevy Silverado. Most people were not excited about it, but I don't think you know all the stats.
Yeah, we got to
man.
talk about this on In-Depth.
We're going to talk about it in
you
depth.
should be excited.
Look, I don't like
and
Chevy.
I know, I'm saying Chevy and excited in the same sentence, but
you're going to have to take a look. And we'll get to it. We'll figure it out.
All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community mail time!
Remember, you can send in your stories and pictures to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. We got Balaz from Sweden who sent us this light show he made. Unfortunately, because of copyright, we can't play the music, but it does look awesome. We'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. Even more better than that, Patrick downloaded our Tesla light show, Veldic Transport. You can too. You can watch how we did it and then go to EcoWare to pay what you want to get your copy, which all goes to support our new 501c3 nonprofit, Now We Act. Doesn't that song sound cool? have that in your car too. Just head over to EcoAir. Elaine showed us this black and yellow Model 3. Paul was talking about this problem on the Model X. He's like, how are they going to show you full self-driving on the vertical screen? They don't show it to you on the vertical screen. They show it to you on your driver binnacle. Manuel sent us these pics of an all-gray wrapped Model 3. Nice. Very cool. Matt spotted my Rivian R1T in South Lake Town Square in Texas. He also spotted this khaki-colored Model S in Carrollton, Texas, and a white Plaid in Carrollton. And then, lastly, he was driving to the Dallas County Tax Office. He got to park in a designated low-emissions parking spot. But, I don't think that Silverado qualifies, although we just did pre-order the EV version. That is not the EV version. So get out of the parking space. Fred wanted to make sure that we all saw this. What is this?
That is a Tesla Model 3 police vehicle in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Very nice. Our buddy Kevin in Colorado shared this video about the devastating fire in Superior.
Zach and Jesse, on December 30th, 2021, a wildfire broke out between the cities of Lafayette and Superior, Colorado. The wildfire was driven eastward by 100-mile-an-hour winds until it reached into the Superior area with devastating results. Over 1,000 homes and businesses like this hotel were damaged or completely destroyed. The Tesla store and service center received extensive damage to the building. This was a tragedy that affected so many lives here in Colorado, in Boulder County. Now you know.
Yeah, Kevin also shared these photos of the west and south side of the Tesla building. Our hearts go out to all the people who were affected by this fire. All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews. Let's see what's out there this week.
Hi, Zach and Jesse.
Hi.
My name's John, and this is Helen, and we are in Lincoln City, Oregon. We got our brand new Tesla, and this is the first time we've done a Supercharger, and it's great. We're at the outlet malls in Lincoln City, and as you can see here, there's, I don't think, 9 or 8 bays, and there's been a lot of people in and out, and we're at the back side of the outlet mall. And the front side, there's tons of stores. We had some great coffee. We ended up spending money on things we didn't need here as Helen got her little toy. Obviously it's our first experience at Supercharger station, but we think it's great because we got coffee, there's food, we got shopping. So, this is the back, but not being at a Supercharger before, I think it's pretty darn good. So we'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you. Now you know.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. I am at the new Pigeon Forge Supercharger. It's 12 stations, has 250 kilowatts of charging. It is located several miles away from the I-40 interstate. So this is not really good for traveling on the interstates. But it is good if you're staying and vacationing here in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Sevierville area. It's inside a strip mall, and I'll take you a look around the strip mall. That's across the street, that Ferris wheel. But it's in a very touristy location. This is a huge swing ride there. They'll drop you, and you can swing from the poles there. There's a new restaurant coming in here in September, opens up in September, Guy Fiero's restaurant. It'll have a bowling alley in it. Also, there's some shopping like REI, Nike shoe outlet. There's some places to eat. There's even a distillery that has like Old Smoky liquor, and pizza place, an ice cream place. Nice area to sit down. Even fire pits around the area, and a patch of AstroTurf, a couple patches of AstroTurf, so your kids can play if that's what you need to do. But yeah, I give this probably 9 out of 10 stars. Wish there was a fast food restaurant nearby, and also some more convenient restrooms, but I guess you'll have to use the restroom inside the stores or the restaurants there. All right, well, now you know.
Hi guys, Will Silvers here from the Driver Mojo channel. We're here in the racing capital of the world, Speedway, Indiana. It's one of the newest Supercharger facilities right here at the Get Go gas station, prominently displayed right at the main road, conveniently located right off of 465, which is our local interstate. Right around here, there is a plethora of fast food options as well as hotel. There's a hotel immediately behind. And over here, we've got some Chipotle and Starbucks. On the other side, we're flanked by Denny's, Taco Bell. And if you're like me and you've got an electric scooter in the back hatch of your Leaf, your range is even more so that you've got even more options going from there. But love the show, Zach and Jesse. Now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. We're here in Las Vegas at the Grand Central Parkway Supercharger. I think there are about 8 stalls. It's charging up pretty fast. There's a mall. You want to show the mall?
Yeah.
You do have to pay $5 if you're not a Nevada resident. You have to pay $5 to get into this lot. And the lot's kind of pushed to the far corner of the mall, so you have to walk a bit. And it's 104 degrees right now, but
It's a nice building.
Yeah.
You can get a view of the spire over there.
and there's a Starbucks in the mall. I think there are 2, one's closed right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's working pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing Supercharger reviews. If you want to upload your own, you can head over to nowyouknowchannel.com and you can view all the Supercharger reviews that have ever been made, and you can upload your own.
It's free. We do that for you.
It is free.
Yeah. What do we got for new Superchargers this week?
Just 2.
Just 2.
We got the 8 stall in Llano, Texas.
And we got the 8 stall in Canoe Creek, Florida.
That's it.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. If you want to get into this big barrel of fun, you know what to do. Join us on Patreon. The more you support us, the more chances you have to win. You could win this week a $30 gift card to EcoWare where you can get cool shirts and pillows and honey and mugs. Who's the winner?
The winner is Darren R. Edwards.
Congratulations, Darren. You're going to get that gift card to EcoWare. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the show. We had like the longest and awesomest Investor Club bonus stories this week and Patreon bonus stories this week. So if you want to help the show and get a lot of awesome content,
I think if you add up both the 2 Patreon, the 2 Investor Club bonus stories and the Patreon bonus stories, you would get another hour of content.
and not just like an hour content, like you might just be like, well, that's just time. Some valuable stuff in there. I mean, if I can say it myself.
Oh
like,
yeah. I mean, you know, we're not like holding out on you, but this show can only be so long. It's already way too long.
Right.
And we need to split it up and put it into different sections. So that's why we did that. And we allowed for our patrons to help support this show.
And speaking of bringing you more value, head on over to EcoWare, pay what you want for our Tesla Light Show. So if you have a Tesla or a friend with a Tesla, this is a great little like gift because
go out, buy the cheapest USB stick you can find, because it needs to be like less than a gigabyte. Put our song on it with the Light Show, and you can just give it to your friend, say, put this in your car, and then play the Light Show. That's a present right there.
that's a really good present.
Really good gift, and it could cost you basically nothing.
And make a video of it and send it in to us because I want to show it to everyone.
And all the money that you do pay us, you can say, and I helped, actually, all the proceeds went to a nonprofit. So that you could say, and I donated, $10, $20 to charity.
I'm so glad that years ago we wrote that song because I was kind of bummed after we wrote it and Tesla was like, we're not interested. Now it's being played in Teslas all around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Patrick in Sweden. He's playing it. It's playing around the world.
I would have had to pay someone in Sweden to do that. So thank you, Patrick. And thank you to everyone who has helped support us. So yeah, head over to EcoWare and pick that song up because, we wrote it just about Tesla.
And thank you to those who did and are paying a little bit something for it because it's really helping out with our nonprofit. I'm so excited to actually, that money, we were just pouring money out of the nonprofit for a while. Now we're actually able to put some money back into it. So thank you for doing that.
All right. Well, we will see you next week as we always do.
Now you know.